Success is not an accident. Success is not luck. Success is not something reserved for a few special people. Real success begins the moment you make one powerful decision, the decision that you will no longer accept an ordinary life. The world does not reward excuses. It rewards discipline. It rewards courage. It rewards people who wake up every morning with purpose in their hearts and fire in their minds. If you want to become number one in your life, you must first become number one in your thinking. Everything starts in the mind. Your thoughts create your beliefs shape your actions create your future. If you continue to think small, you will continue to live small. But the moment you start thinking bigger, acting stronger, and believing deeper, your life begins to change. Most people wait for the perfect moment. They wait for motivation. They wait for opportunity. They wait for someone to save them. But winners understand one truth. The perfect moment does not exist. You create it right now, today, with the next decision you make. If you want real success, stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what can I do now? Responsibility is power. The day you take full responsibility for your life is the day your life truly begins. Number one people are not always the smartest. They are not always the most talented, but they are often the most persistent. They keep going when others quit. They stay focused when others get distracted. They continue climbing when others choose comfort. Comfort is dangerous. Comfort kills dreams quietly. It whispers, tomorrow is fine, but tomorrow becomes next week, next month, next year, and one day regret becomes your closest companion. Do not let that happen. Set clear goals, write them down, know exactly what you want. A person without goals is like a ship without direction, moving, but going nowhere. Clarity creates power. When your target is clear, your energy becomes stronger. Ask yourself, what is the one goal that could change my life the most? Focus on that, protect it, work on it every single day. Small daily progress creates massive long-term results. Discipline is the bridge between dreams and achievement. Motivation may start the journey, but discipline finishes it. Wake up early, do the hard work, keep your promises to yourself. Every time you do, you build confidence. Every time you quit, you build weakness. Failure is not your enemy. Fear is. Failure teaches. Failure strengthens. Failure prepares you for greatness. Every successful person has failed more times than most people have even tried. The difference is simple. They refuse to stop. Do not fear failure. Fear a life where you never tried. Learn constantly, grow daily, read books, listen carefully, improve your skills. The more valuable you become, the more successful you will be. Your income grows only as much as you do. Remember this, success on the outside begins with growth on the inside. Protect your environment. Stay close to people who challenge you, inspire you, and push you higher. Negative people drain your future. Positive people expand your vision. And above all, believe in yourself before the world does. There will be days when nobody claps for you. There will be nights when doubt enters your mind. In those moments, remember why you started. Remember the life you promised yourself. Remember the person you are becoming. You are capable of more than you think. You were not born to live small. You were born to create, to lead, to rise, and to win. Becoming number one is not about defeating others. It is about conquering your old self. Beat procrastination, beat fear, beat excuses, beat the voice that says you are not enough, because you are enough, and the moment you decide to act like it, your entire future changes. Start now, not next Monday, not next month, not when conditions are perfect, now, because real success belongs to those who move first, believe first, and persist longest. Become number one in your habits, become number one in your mindset, become number one in your discipline, and success will no longer be a dream, it will become your reality. Your best life is waiting. Go earn it. Decide clearly that being average is no longer enough. Most people spend their entire lives trapped in the comfort of average, never realizing that average is the most expensive place to live. Average dreams create average habits create average results, and average results create a lifetime of regret. Studies show that nearly 80% of people abandon their major goals within the first few months because comfort feels safer than growth. They settle for routine instead of greatness, security instead of purpose, and excuses instead of action. But the truth is powerful. Nothing extraordinary has ever been built by someone committed to being ordinary. The world does not remember average. It remembers courage. It remembers people who made a decision that enough was enough. Research in personal performance consistently proves that high achievers are not separated by talent alone, but by clarity of decision and consistency of action. Less than 10% of people write down clear life goals, yet those same people are dramatically more likely to achieve financial success, leadership positions, and personal fulfillment. Why? Because success begins the moment the mind refuses to negotiate with mediocrity. Average is dangerous because it feels comfortable. It does not look like failure at first. It looks like postponing your dreams for one more year. It looks like accepting less than your potential. It looks like saying, I'll start tomorrow, until tomorrow becomes 10 years. Statistics in workplace satisfaction reveal that more than 70% of people feel disconnected from the work they do every day, yet they continue because familiarity feels safer than change. They trade passion for predictability and then wonder why fulfillment never arrives. Look at the people who rise to the top in business, leadership, and life. They are not always the most gifted. They are the ones who made a non-negotiable decision to demand more from themselves. Olympic champions train when others sleep. Top entrepreneurs work through rejection while others surrender after one failure. High performers understand a simple law: your future is built by what you repeatedly taught. You were not created to survive your potential. You were created to expand it. There is something powerful inside you that average cannot contain. There is leadership in your voice, greatness in your vision, and strength in your struggle. But none of it activates until you make one fearless choice: to stop being satisfied with less than your best build, unstoppable self-discipline, and daily consistency. Because success is never created in one dramatic moment. It is built quietly in the small decisions repeated every single day. The difference between winners and those who remain stuck is rarely intelligence or luck. It is discipline. Research shows that nearly 92% of people fail to achieve their New Year goals, not because the goals are impossible, but because consistency disappears after motivation fades. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is permanent. Motivation makes you start. Discipline makes you finish. The average person wastes more than 2 hours every day on distractions that add no real value to life. That becomes over 700 hours every year. Enough time to learn a new skill, build a business, improve health, or completely transform a future. Time is not missing. Discipline is missing. People often say they do not have enough time, but the truth is they do not have enough structure. Without discipline, talent becomes useless and dreams remain expensive fantasies. Daily consistency is powerful because the mind responds to repetition. Neuroscience proves that repeated actions create stronger neural pathways, meaning your habits literally shape your brain. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you are training your identity. You are no longer trying to become successful. You are becoming the kind of person who succeeds. Every early morning, every completed task, every promise kept to yourself sends one message to your mind: I am reliable, I am focused, I do what I say I will do. Self-discipline begins when excuses end. Excuses sound harmless, but they destroy potential silently. I'm too tired. I'll start tomorrow. I need the perfect moment. These are not reasons. They are permission slips for mediocrity. Studies in productivity reveal that people who create structured routines are significantly more likely to achieve long-term goals than those who rely on emotional motivation. Feelings change daily. Systems create results. The disciplined person does not ask, do I feel like doing this? They ask, does this move me closer to my goal? Look at elite athletes, top executives, and world-class performers. Their success is not based on rare inspiration. It is based on routine. Champions repeat fundamentals when nobody is watching. They train on ordinary days with the same intensity they bring to important moments. That is why they win. Consistency under pressure begins with consistency in private. If your habits are weak in silence, they will collapse in difficulty. One of the strongest truths in performance psychology is that small habits create massive outcomes. Improving by just 1% every day may seem insignificant, but over time it creates extraordinary transformation. Reading 10 pages a day becomes thousands of pages a year. Saving a little money daily becomes financial security. 30 minutes of focus. Work every day becomes expertise. Greatness is not built in giant leaps. It is built in disciplined steps so small that most people ignore them. The strongest statistic is simple. People with written routines and daily tracking are far more likely to stay committed than those who depend on memory and emotion. Discipline loves clarity. When your goals are visible, your actions become intentional. Write your priorities, protect your schedule, track your progress. What gets measured gets improved. What gets ignored gets repeated. Self-discipline also means learning to be uncomfortable. Comfort is addictive, but growth lives outside it. Waking up early is uncomfortable. Saying no to distractions is uncomfortable. Practicing when others rest is uncomfortable. but comfort has never produced excellence. Every great achievement requires temporary sacrifice for permanent reward. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. There will be days when energy is low and confidence is missing. Those are the days that matter most. Anyone can perform when they feel inspired. Leaders perform when they feel nothing at all. Discipline is doing the right thing, even when nobody applauds, even when progress feels slow, even when results are invisible. Because true strength is not emotional excitement. It is repeated action without negotiation. Your future is hidden inside your daily routine. Show me your habits, and I will show you your destiny. If you master your mornings, your focus, your standards, and your consistency, your life cannot remain average. Discipline is not punishment. It is self-respect in action. It is proof that your goals matter more than your excuses, and your purpose matters more than your comfort. Focus on high-value goals that create real success, because not every goal deserves your energy. Many people stay busy their entire lives, but never become successful because they confuse movement with progress. Activity is not achievement. Being occupied is not the same as being productive. Studies show that nearly 80% of results often come from just 20% of focused actions. This principle reveals a powerful truth. A small number of high-value decisions create the majority of your success. While the rest is often distraction disguised as importance, most people wake up reacting instead of leading. They answer messages, handle small problems, and spend hours on urgent tasks that change nothing about their future. At the end of the day, they feel exhausted but not fulfilled. Research in workplace productivity shows that the average person spends more than 40% of their time on low-value activities that produce little long-term growth. That means almost half of life is often invested in things that do not matter. Real success demands ruthless clarity. You must know what matters most and protect it with discipline. High-value goals are the goals that create transformation. They are not chosen for comfort or appearance. They are chosen for impact. They improve your income, your health, your skills, your leadership, your relationships, and your purpose. They are the goals that, once achieved, make 10 other problems smaller. Asking the right question changes everything. What one goal, if accomplished, would improve my life the most? That question separates focused people from distracted people. The strongest performers in business and life understand priority better than average people. They do not try to do everything. They identify the few things that matter most, and they commit deeply. Top executives often make fewer decisions, but better decisions. Elite performers protect their mornings for high-value work because they know energy is strongest when attention is fresh. They understand that every yes to something unimportant is a no to something life-changing. Statistics in personal development consistently show that people with clearly written top priorities are significantly more likely to achieve long-term success than those with vague intentions. Clarity creates power. A goal written with purpose becomes a target. A goal without definition becomes a wish. Wishes create frustration. Targets create action. When you know exactly what you are aiming for, your mind begins organizing your behavior around that destination. One of the greatest mistakes people make is setting goals based on pressure instead of purpose. They chase what looks impressive instead of what creates meaning. They seek approval instead of growth. Real success is not measured by applause, it is measured by alignment. A high-value goal should move you closer to the person you are meant to become, not just the image you want others to see. Wealth without peace is failure. Achievement without purpose is emptiness. The strongest statistic is this: the average person makes thousands of decisions every day, but only a few truly shape the future. The problem is not lack of opportunity, but lack of focus. Every hour spent on low-value thinking steals time from high-value creation. Every distraction delays momentum. Every postponed priority weakens confidence. Success requires the courage to eliminate what is unnecessary so excellence has room to grow. Focus also means sacrifice. You cannot chase every opportunity and still expect mastery. Greatness requires concentration. A magnifying glass can start a fire only when light is focused in one place. Human potential works the same way. Scattered effort creates frustration. Focused effort creates power. If you divide your energy between too many directions, you weaken every result. High-value goals demand patience because meaningful progress is rarely immediate. Building a business, mastering a skill, transforming health, or creating financial freedom takes time. Many people quit because results are slow, forgetting that slow progress is still progress. Long-term success belongs to those who stay loyal to the process long after excitement disappears. Your life changes when your priorities change. The moment you stop asking what is urgent and start asking what is important, your future begins to shift. Focus is not about doing more, it is about doing what matters most with excellence. Real success is built when your best energy is invested in your highest value goals, and every day becomes proof that your future is too important to be wasted on things that do not deserve your life. Master your mindset and remove fear of failure, because every victory in life is first won in the mind. Before success becomes visible in your career, your health, your finances, or your purpose, it must first become a belief strong enough to survive doubt. Most people are not stopped by lack of talent. They are stopped by invisible limits created by fear, hesitation, and negative thinking. Studies in human behavior show that nearly 85% of what people worry about never actually happens. Yet those imagined fears still control decisions, delay action, and destroy potential. The mind becomes either your greatest weapon or your greatest prison. Fear of failure is one of the strongest forces keeping people average. It convinces people to stay small because small feels safe. It whispers that trying is dangerous, that rejection is permanent, and that mistakes define identity. But statistics in entrepreneurship reveal that many successful business owners failed multiple times before building lasting success. Athletes lose before they win. Leaders are criticized before they are respected. Growth has always required discomfort. Failure is not proof of weakness, it is evidence of movement. The average person spends years protecting comfort instead of building confidence. They wait until they feel ready, but readiness is often an illusion. Confidence does not come before action. Confidence comes because of action. Research in psychology confirms that repeated exposure to fear reduces its power. The more you face discomfort, the less control it has over you. Fear grows in avoidance and shrinks in action. Every difficult conversation, every bold decision, every risk taken with purpose strengthens mental resilience. Mindset determines interpretation. Two people can face the same obstacle and create completely different futures. One sees rejection and decides to quit. The other sees rejection and decides to improve. One sees failure as an ending. The other sees failure as feedback. The event is the same, but the mindset changes the outcome. High performers train themselves to ask better questions. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" they ask, "What is this teaching me?" That single shift transforms pain into power. The strongest statistic is this: people with a growth mindset are significantly more likely to persist through challenges than those with a fixed mindset. A fixed mindset believes ability is limited. A growth mindset believes ability can be developed. One creates excuses, the other creates progress. If you believe your skills can improve, your effort increases. If you believe failure is final, your effort disappears. Success belongs to those who believe they can become more. Negative self-talk is another silent destroyer of greatness. Many people speak to themselves with more doubt than they would ever speak to a stranger. "I'm not good enough, I always fail. People like me never succeed." These thoughts are not facts. They are habits, and habits can be changed. The mind listens to repetition. If you repeat weakness, you strengthen fear. If you repeat belief, you strengthen courage. Your internal language shapes your external reality. Look at the people who lead industries, inspire millions, and create lasting impact. They are not fearless. They simply learned to move while fear was present. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is action despite fear. That is the real difference. Winners feel doubt too, but they refuse to let doubt make decisions for them. They understand that every breakthrough sits on the other side of uncertainty. Mindset mastery also requires protecting your environment. Fear spreads through negative people, limiting beliefs, and constant comparison. If you surround yourself with voices that normalize quitting, your standards begin to fall. But when you stay close to disciplined, optimistic, growth-driven people, your vision expands. Your environment influences your expectations, and your expectations shape your results. Failure should never be your identity. It should be your instructor. Every mistake carries information. Every setback reveals weakness that can become strength. Every rejection teaches precision. Some of the greatest success stories in history were built on repeated failure, because failure forces adaptation, and adaptation creates excellence. Your life changes the moment you stop asking how to avoid failure and start asking how to grow from it. The strongest mind is not the one that never falls, but the one that rises stronger each time. Fear loses power when purpose becomes bigger, when your mission matters more than your comfort. Hesitation disappears and action becomes inevitable. Take full responsibility for your life and results, because the moment you stop blaming circumstances is the moment your power begins. Most people spend years waiting for better conditions, better luck, better people, or better timing. They believe success is controlled by the economy, by their past, by their family, or by the unfairness of life. But the strongest shift in human performance happens when a person realizes one truth: your future changes the moment your excuses end. Research in psychology shows that people with a strong internal sense of control are significantly more likely to achieve career success, financial stability, and emotional resilience than those who constantly blame external factors. Responsibility creates power because it gives you something to control yourself. Blame feels comfortable because it protects the ego. If failure is always someone else's fault, then change never becomes necessary. But comfort is expensive. It costs growth, confidence, and freedom. Studies reveal that people who consistently blame outside forces often experience higher stress and lower long-term achievement because they surrender control over their own progress. Responsibility may feel heavy at first, but blame is far heavier because it keeps you stuck. The average person says, "I had no choice." High performers ask, "What is my next move?" That difference changes everything. Responsibility is not about pretending life is always fair. It is about refusing to let unfairness define your future. You may not control where you started, but you control your response. You may not control every obstacle, but you control your preparation. You may not control every outcome, but you always control your effort, attitude, and standards. The strongest statistic is simple. People who write personal goals, track progress, and review their own performance regularly are dramatically more likely to succeed than those who drift without ownership. Why? Because responsibility turns life from reaction into intention. When you take ownership, every day becomes strategic. You stop asking who will save you and start becoming the person who builds the solution. Financial success follows the same law. Many people complain about money while refusing to examine habits. They blame income, government, or bad luck, but ignore spending patterns, lack of planning, or fear of learning new skills. Responsibility means telling the truth about your current situation. It means looking directly at your results and asking, what part of this did I create and what can I improve? That question is uncomfortable, but it is also the beginning of freedom. In relationships, responsibility is equally powerful. People often focus on what others failed to do while ignoring the energy they bring into every conversation. Leadership begins when you ask how you can communicate better, listen deeper, and respond stronger. Mature people do not chase perfection from others while avoiding accountability in themselves. They understand that trust, respect, and influence grow where responsibility lives. Health follows the same principle. People say they want energy, confidence, and strength, yet daily choices tell a different story. Sleep is ignored, discipline is delayed, health is postponed until pain arrives. But your body records every decision. Responsibility means understanding that small habits create long-term outcomes. You cannot negotiate with results. Your routine always tells the truth. One of the most dangerous phrases in life is, "That's just how I am." It sounds harmless, but it becomes a prison. Responsibility rejects that mindset. It says growth is possible. It says discipline can be learned. It says identity is not fixed. The people who rise are the ones who stop defending weakness and start building strength. They understand that excuses explain the past, but they never create the future. Taking responsibility also means protecting your standards when nobody is watching. It means keeping promises to yourself. It means showing up on difficult days. It means being honest when lying would be easier. Integrity is private responsibility. Character is built in moments without applause. Success on the outside begins with self-respect on the inside. The most powerful leaders in the world share one trait: they own outcomes. They do not waste time complaining about conditions. They create conditions. They do not wait for rescue. They become resourceful. They understand that leadership begins the moment you say, "If it is to be, it is up to me." Your life improves when your responsibility increases. Every excuse removed creates space for action. Every complaint replaced with discipline creates momentum. Every moment of ownership builds confidence. Freedom is not found in avoiding responsibility. Freedom is found in mastering it, because the person who owns their choices also owns the power to change everything, grow every day through learning, action, and persistence, because success is never a final destination. It is a continuous process of becoming better than you were yesterday. The people who rise to extraordinary levels in life understand one powerful truth. If you stop growing, you start falling behind. In a world that changes constantly, standing still is not safety. It is slow failure. Studies show that professionals who dedicate even 30 minutes a day to learning new skills are significantly more likely to increase income, improve leadership opportunities, and create long-term career stability. Knowledge compounds just like money. Small daily learning creates massive future value. Most people underestimate the power of one focused day repeated consistently. They wait for dramatic transformation, but greatness is usually built in quiet routines. Reading 10 pages a day becomes more than 3,000 pages in a year. Practicing one skill daily creates mastery over time. Saving small amounts regularly builds financial confidence. The strongest statistic is simple. 1% daily improvement may look invisible in the moment, but over time it creates a completely different life. Progress does not need to be dramatic to be life-changing. It only needs to be consistent. Learning alone is not enough. Information without action becomes intellectual entertainment. Many people know exactly what they should do, but knowledge without execution creates frustration. Research in productivity proves that people who immediately apply what they learn retain more knowledge and achieve faster progress than those who endlessly consume information without movement. Action turns theory into results. It is not enough to read about discipline, you must practice it. It is not enough to study confidence, you must speak, decide, and lead under pressure. The world rewards implementation, not intention. Ideas are common, execution is rare. Millions of people have goals, but very few are willing to stay committed when the work becomes repetitive and uncomfortable. Learning opens the door, but action walks through it. If you want real change, ask yourself every day, what did I apply today? Because transformation is not measured by what you know, but by what you do repeatedly. Persistence is the force that separates temporary effort from lasting achievement. Most people quit too early because they expect quick rewards from long-term goals. They plant seeds and demand fruit the next morning. Building a business, mastering a craft, strengthening your body, or creating financial freedom requires patience. Studies in goal achievement show that a large percentage of people abandon important goals simply because visible progress takes longer than expected. They mistake slow growth for failure, but slow progress is not failure. Stopping is failure. Look at the greatest performers in any field. They did not succeed because they were always motivated. They succeeded because they stayed when others left. Persistence means continuing when results are invisible. It means trusting the process when emotions are unstable. It means showing up on ordinary days with extraordinary standards. Champions are not created in moments of applause. They are created in seasons of repetition. The mind also grows stronger through persistence. Every challenge you face and overcome builds resilience. Every setback survived increases confidence. Failure becomes less frightening when you realize it cannot defeat a person who refuses to quit. Persistence rewrites identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone trying to improve and start becoming someone who never stops improving. Environment matters in growth. If you stay surrounded by people who avoid learning, resist discipline, and normalize excuses, your standards begin to weaken. But when you stay close to people who challenge you, your ambition expands. Growth is contagious. Excellence creates expectation. Your circle influences your ceiling. Protecting your environment is protecting your future. One of the greatest lies people believe is that success should feel easy when it is meant for them. Real growth is often uncomfortable. Learning demands humility. Action demands courage. Persistence demands sacrifice. But discomfort is not a sign to stop. It is often proof that progress is happening. Muscles grow through resistance. Character grows the same way. Every day gives you a choice. Remain who you were or become someone stronger. The decision is hidden in small moments. Whether you study or scroll, whether you act or delay, whether you continue or quit, your future is not created by one grand opportunity. It is shaped by ordinary decisions repeated with extraordinary commitment. The person you want to become is built daily, through books, through work, through failure, through discipline, through staying when quitting feels easier. Growth is not an event, it is a lifestyle, and the people who commit to learning, action, and persistence never stay average because improvement itself becomes their identity.